I think if people have a dream or they want to accomplish something, write it down and work towards it. Every day you start fresh. If today didn't work out, okay, tomorrow you start again. Because if you say, many people say, oh, I don't know, maybe because I am too old. And you think about it and you say, okay, in 2 years, you're going to be old, but did you accomplish anything? So better start now and say, okay, in 2 years, I accomplished this one.
Hola y bienvenidos. Welcome to Mely Mama Cooking with Love. You're about to join us for our weekly episode where we speak with food bloggers and artisans and other amazing food people who are helping us to connect, to learn, and to share our love with others with our food. I am delighted because I have a returning guest today. She was here about a year ago, and she is just one of my favorites. I have Mely Martinez here from Mexico in my kitchen. And if you're not following her yet on Instagram, please go over to do that now, as well as check out her blog. She has so many amazing Mexican authentic recipes. You're going to be overwhelmed with what to make, what to look at, and you're also going to be super hungry. And she has a new book coming out September 15th. So we're going to be talking all about the Mexican Home Kitchen Cookbook. So I'm so excited that she said yes, and we have her back. So with that, welcome to Mely Mama, Mely. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Well, we have that, common love of food. Like we really love
Yeah.
Right? So can you tell our listeners a little bit, I'm an avid follower, but can you tell our listeners a little bit more about Mexico in My Kitchen and how you started it and what it is?
As I told you before in the previous podcast, I started Mexico My Kitchen for my son. My son was a teenager then. And at the beginning, I wanted to write a cookbook, something for him to have the recipes that we cook at home. Because he's my only son. And I was thinking, someday he's going to grow up, he's going to get married, and he miss the food of his mom. He will have a place to look for the recipes. And then I decided to start the blog so whenever he could reach the recipes. And so that's why I started. That was the beginning of Mexico in My Kitchen. And the name of the blog is because we were living in Ohio at that time, and I was thinking it's too far away to go to Mexico. If we cannot go to Mexico, we are gonna bring Mexico to the kitchen. So that's what is the name.
And it's a lovely, lovely name. And now it's been about 10 years, right, since you started your blog?
It's gonna be 12 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. So I always have to ask, and I know we've talked about this before, but I think you're the oldest of 8 children. Is that right?
I am the second.
Second, oh good. Okay, I'm number 6 of 8, so we have similar. And so you learned to cook with your family, is that correct?
Yeah. When back then when you are the oldest, you have to learn everything about the house and the cooking to help your mom to take what she's taking care of the little ones. So my older brother and I usually were in charge of cooking, and we love cooking. My brother is an excellent cook, and we love cooking, the two of us. So that's what you learn. You have to be like a little mama to your younger brothers and sisters.
Yes, that's how I learned too. Same exact thing. Now, you also you grew up in Mexico and then you moved to the United States. Is that also correct?
Yeah. I came here when I was in my mid-30s. I came for the first time, and my son was born here. But then we went back to Mexico right away. The company my husband was working sent him to open a branch in Mexico. And then I came back here 17 years ago. We came back. And my son didn't want to come to the United States because he said, I'm Mexican. Yeah, and he always misses it, but now he doesn't want to go back anymore.
Well, and your food, you have such a huge variety. How many recipes are on your blog? I was trying to count. I went in there the other day.
Actually, they are not as many as they should be.
Yeah.
As the For the many years the blog has been up, I should have like thousands. But for sometimes I didn't write. Sometimes I spent 6 months and I didn't write anything.
Mm.
I didn't want to keep blogging, and then people keep writing, oh, please keep blogging, and then I went back. And but I think they are 500 something, almost 600. Not that many. Some blogs have like thousands,
Okay,
but
well,
I don't have that many.
okay, I still think 500 or 600 is a lot. So I think that's an awful lot. So
I still have a lot of more that I need to add. It's not that I need and I want to publish, but it's just that I don't give myself time to post it. But there are many, many more things about Mexico, that Mexican food, that we can share.
well, your blog is so well organized, and I love that your recipes have pictures, like the step-by-step pictures. It also, if you want to skip the writing and go down to the recipe, if you want to print it. So it's really well done, Mely. It's
Yeah,
very,
well,
very well
I
done.
wanted, the idea to have the top part of the whole post is that I also like to share a little bit of cultural background to the
Mhm.
people. How do we eat it, or what part of the country do we eat it? But some people is not interested in that. They just say, they give me the recipe. So they have that option. If they just want the recipe printed, go ahead, go and print it, or go straight to the recipe.
Okay, so now tell us about this new book that's coming out September 15th, right? But you can
Yeah.
pre-order now. Okay.
Um,
So
the
how did it
main
happen?
the main idea of the blog was, first I wanted, I even started to write a book before I start blogging.
Okay.
But then I just thought it will never happen. And then several years ago, like 4 years ago, an editorial company approached me and they asked me to write a book. The book was about tacos, and they wanted just to be about tacos. And but I didn't like how the ethical way they work, and that they say you can write your recipes, don't send me pictures because we can get stock pictures, and if something is missing like the lime or the cilantro, we can photoshop that. And I was like,
No, 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 no.
no,
No.
no. So they chose another blogger, and it was fine for me because I always thought my time will come. If it's meant to be, it's gonna be. Then 2 years later, they approached me again to make a book for an Instapot Mexican, and they wanted to be done in a month. I'm like, no, Mexican food is not like that. And so they went back and approached the same blogger, and that's okay. Like that's not for me. And I always say my time will come. If I Is it meant to be again? And then this company approached me last year, and they told me you can write about anything you want, and if you want, we can go take the pictures in your house, or if you want to take the pictures, you can take the pictures. So I say, okay, I'm gonna choose the recipes, and we're gonna take the pictures ourselves. And I like the way the company works, and we sign a deal like exactly. I think it's like a year ago that we signed the agreement, because it was a lot of work. I never thought it would be that much work.
Yes.
I never thought it would be late nights, and I don't know, but we are happy with the book the way it came out. It was very hard to choose the recipes because we have a very limited space of number of pages. The same with the pictures. I wanted all the pictures and all the step by step, but he said we don't have that much. You just have this many pages, and you have to stick to that. And the cover was a designer that they hired, but they used part of the logo. I love it that they use the colors that I have in the blog. That is that kind of fuchsia, kind of pink.
It's
Uh,
beautiful. It's so
and the
beautiful.
background is like a fabric, because we are all like a fabric between all Latin people. And the part of the logo, the Talavera design, that one was a gift from a friend that is a chef in Mexico. He's a chef and he's a graphic designer, but he gave it to me as a gift. He designed that for me. So I'm really happy with the design of the cover, how it came.
It's so vibrant and full of life. And I just, when I saw it, I got goosebumps all over my body because I was so excited for you. I'm like, oh, it's so gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And good for you for waiting, for knowing if it was meant to be something, the right thing was going to come along. That is, wow. That's a lot of trust. That's a lot of faith. That's a good lesson for me personally. It's just believing.
You know what the funny part is that I I am someone that's always said you have to be perseverant. You want something, you have to keep working on that, working and working. And if it's meant to be, it's gonna be. If it's not for you, just accept that it's not gonna be. At least you try.
Right.
That at least you try. And I was reading. I like to write sometimes like a diary, and then the other day I was cleaning and found a diary of 2015, and everything I wrote that I wanted to achieve, in I have it now. And when I open and read it, like, oh my God, I can scratch all this out of this list. I have forgot about that I wrote about them, the things that I wanted to accomplish, and now they are here. They are here, and but that's one of the things that sometimes new bloggers approach me, and people say, "How do you do it? Can you advise me something?" If you really like what you do, keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Do the best that you can. Just don't deviate. Keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's absolutely great advice. And basically you put something out there and you made it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
just
you.
fantastic. All
Thank you.
right. So this book, how many recipes does it have?
It has about 87, 86, 87. 87, I think.
So you did a photo shoot for 87 recipes?
Well, we use,
Oh my goodness.
I think we use like 4 or 5 pictures that we already have in the blog.
Okay.
What people is going to find are recipes that already are in the blog. People have been requesting that I put those recipes in a book. So I choose some of the most famous ones, the most popular, the people really love. Plus, I have to add new ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and like this is something that I wanted. Some of the recipes that are very popular are from 10 years ago. And from 12 years ago, I needed to do a new picture.
Right.
So I gained 10 pounds with that book. Yeah, really. I'm fine with Kobe. So I'm not gonna blame Kobe for the 15 pounds I gained. But because like one week we decided to shoot desserts, and then you
Oh.
have a tres leche cake, a birthday cake, and what was the other? I don't know.
Did you make your conchas?
No, the conchas are not there.
Okay. All right. Because I haven't made them yet, but your conchas, I'm like, oh, every time I see that picture, I'm like, oh, I have to make those conchas.
Yeah, but yeah, that tres leches cake lasted 2 days in my house, and there were two people.
Oh, no.
It's so good.
Okay. So you have to tell our listeners what a tres leches cake is, because I agree. They're amazing.
Yeah, usually a tres leches cake is a spongy texture cake. Is made with a egg butter that is very airy and light. And then you make a mix of three types of milk that is uh, we call media crema, that is sort of like a heavy cream, but it's the cane version. And then the condensed milk and the evaporated milk, and then you mix them all together and add some vanilla, and then you pour all that mix on the cake and let it soak. The next day you put some whipping cream or some merengue, and then you have a tres leches cake. The cake that I have in the book, the version that I made, is a little bit different than most cakes that you find that are very light, spongy, because I personally really like cake that had a little bit of crumb texture. So
Mhm.
my cake is more like a cake with the tres leches mixture. So, and I explained that you have to be patient and do it a day ahead if you want it really to enjoy. And it's a very popular cake. People love it. People love it in the blog.
So my tia used to make her version with, I think she used to put El Presidente in the sauce.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I added that one. Did you want to add ron or brandy? You
Yeah.
can add it. Yeah,
Yeah. It's very good.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So what were some of the other popular recipes that you said that you made 12, 15 years ago that you've included in this new cookbook?
Pozole, red pozole is
Mm.
is one of the most popular recipes in the blog. It's one of the most popular recipe. People sometimes write and say, "I never made pozole. It's the first time I made it," and even my mother-in-law, that is Mexican, love it. So that means
That's
what? That means a lot to me when they say, "Yeah, yeah." So people say, "And I am a gringa, and my mother-in-law is Mexican, and she loves my cooking."
fantastic.
And I
That's
learned everything in your website. Yeah,
that
so
is really
that's
great.
that's one. The tres leches cake, the chicken tinga, the fideo soup. Most of the recipes are recipes that we Mexicans eat at home, back home, because I see that many families here that are Mexican, and also some Mexican Americans. I'm not sure how they handle their cooking. I know they keep some of the traditional recipes, but they mix some of the Tex-Mex or some more other cultures. And so I try to stick to what one person will find if they go to a house in Mexico. If you
That's
go to a
lovely.
house in Mexico, that's what you are gonna find. And
Yes.
some recipes that you don't find in a Mexican restaurant, not even in Mexico. That is just made at home.
Yes.
Yeah, I try to include recipes that are very familiar for Mexicans, that people from outside will think that is not Mexican. For example, I added the uh, chicken salad and the elbow macaroni with cream, because I know it's an influence from the chicken salad we had, maybe come from the Russian salad
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But in Mexico, we have our own version, and it's very popular in children's party. When you go to a children's party, that's what they give, because everybody like it, grown-ups and children. And that's something that you are not going to find in a restaurant. And
Right.
when you see a book that is a book about Mexican recipes, you are not gonna see it very much because people is looking for antojitos or tacos or mole. So I wanted to show to somebody that is no Mexican or Mexican. I wanted to show them what do we eat at home. What is what we eat in like in everyday life.
Yes,
So
and that's lovely. I know that I've made calabacitas for so many people that I know that are like, what is this? So
we eat calabacitas a
yes,
lot.
yes, so do we.
I think when you go to the supermarket, you know, you add onion, tomatoes, peppers, calabacitas.
Yes,
Potatoes. It has to
yes,
be in your list.
yes.
Calabacita has to be, and I hope people try. People have that, you know, because here the calabacitas, the squash, is the green one or the yellow one. And
Mm-hmm.
we eat the pale color one, the one that we call also the Italian one.
Mm-hmm.
I hope people try the pale ones because those ones are sweeter in taste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I try the green ones that you find at any American supermarket, for me they have kind of like a bitter taste.
Mm-hmm.
But most supermarket now are selling that version, the light color, the green pale color.
Okay, and let's talk about I might mispronounce this, but chayotes.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's another, right, that's another thing that I've made and people are like, what is that? Like, what? So do you have any recipes that include that? My mother used to put them in albondigas.
I think I only have it in el caldo de res and the beef
Okay.
soup and vegetable. I think it's only that. I don't remember if I added in the albondigas too. But you know what? What we do in Mexico when we do it kind of stews is usually the families add the vegetable days to make the meal big. So
Yes.
that's what you are gonna add: potatoes, chayotes, calabacitas, carrots, green beans. Just because if the family is big, the budget doesn't give you sometimes too much for the protein, so you add vegetables.
Yes, I understand that. And I think that, you know, even though my mother was Mexican, but she was the baby of 7 and the only one born in this country. So she was actually a Mexican American. And I think she changed a lot of her recipes from even because my tias that are from Mexico, their cooking is different than my mom's. So it's like, it's very, and then I've of course changed it even more. So
Yeah, I have seen that, you know, people adapt to the ingredients that they have.
mm-hmm.
That I understand that. That's what I understand that when they start using queso amarillo, that yellow cheese to tacos, maybe because they couldn't find queso fresco, and that's what they have
Yeah.
to use what they have. And some people like it, and then they keep using it. Uh,
That's what I grew up eating. I didn't even know about the queso fresco until I was much older, that was more authentic. But
yeah.
yeah.
So, and then you believe that since your mom is from Mexico, then you believe that that's authentic.
Yes.
And then when you tell him no, that you go to Mexico and you're not gonna find any place. I don't know, maybe Taco Bell, but no in a taqueria.
No.
No, so I think that people do that because they have to adapt to the things that they find, the places that they go. It's like I have people that so many Mexicans that are in Europe, and in Europe it's so hard to find the queso fresco. They use feta,
Mm-hmm.
feta cheese, or they use Parmesan cheese
Mm-hmm.
when they have to use cheese for a recipe that because they can't find queso fresco. So people just adapt. And another thing that I believe happens is you start acquiring the taste of the food from the place where you live.
I agree. I
So
agree. And I think that's might be why. Let's talk a little bit about there's so much diversity in Mexican cooking, even in Mexico, because
oh,
I think you're absolutely right. It's based on the region of where
mhm.
somebody's from. So a dish that you might find in Jalisco might be completely different, even though it's called the same thing. It might be completely different in another part of Mexico.
Yeah, yeah. I so a lot of people when they write and say, oh, but my family is from these states and they do different, or they call that pepper different. Yet that when you talk about peppers or dry peppers or fresh peppers, they have different names. Every region have a different name, sometimes for the same kind of pepper.
Yes.
So people say, well, my mom does it this way. And then I always tell it, that's right, because that's the way she grew up cooking it, or the way she learned how to cook it. And every region is very, very different. And I'm so happy that now with the internet, people, if they do a little digging, they can find out that one dish can be made in a way in Nuevo León, in another way in central Mexico, and in Oaxaca, the name of that dish is for something completely different.
Yes.
And
It's,
it changed the ingredients, changed the paper, the peppers, so, and sometimes the way they cook it.
yes, the approach, just the style, the techniques, everything is different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your book's going to be out on September 15th, but you can pre-order it now, correct?
Yes.
So, and where can listeners go and pre-order?
They can pre-order in Amazon everywhere in the world. I think they are selling in Amazon in Spain, in England, Mexico. They can also order in Barnes and Noble. They can order in Books a Million, IndieBound, Amazon Canada, and another place in Canada also. There's another place in Canada that is selling it. But there are several places online where they can find it.
Okay, and they get a bonus right now, right? If they
Yeah,
actually,
if they pre-order, they have to send an email to, well, I think it's info. No, it's Mexico in my kitchen at cuatro.com, and send a proof of purchase, and they're gonna get a bonus of 3 extra recipes.
okay, well, I'm excited. I pre-ordered today, so I sent my stuff in. So I'm like, I'm looking forward to those 3 extra recipes. I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, but just let me give you a little bit of the recipes. So we are gonna have soups. Many people already know these soups, like caldo de res, caldo de pollo, fideo, how to make rice, white rice, green rice, red rice, and Mexican rice. No Spanish rice, it's Mexican red rice. um, Potato soup, corn soup, menudo, pozole, dishes like steak a la mexicana, albóndigas, milanesa.
Oh, I
That's the
love
name,
Milanesa. Okay,
milanesa.
we have to tell people what Milanesa is, because that's another thing that I've made that people are like, oh my gosh, what is that?
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you how my mom makes it and how it's
Okay.
cooked.
All
The
right.
milanesa is a thin cutlet of meat. It's big and it's very thin. Is not like those Philly cheesesteak kind of steaks. No, this is a very tender cut of meat. And first, you grind garlic, peppercorns, and in a molcajete. If you don't have a molcajete, just use powder garlic and powder peppercorn, or ground peppercorn. And that one, you put it to the steaks, you season it with salt, and then you prepare some eggs, you beat those eggs, and then you put those steaks in the egg mixture, and then you put those steaks in a breading, and that breading could be saltine crackers that you process in the blender or on a food processors, and then you put those saltine crackers that you already make into breadcrumbs. You can use also store-bought breadcrumbs, and then you pass every steak to those breadcrumbs, and then you fry them.
It's so good.
And then you usually serve it with potato fries, with fries. In Mexico, we cut it in circles,
Oh,
not French
okay.
style. We cut it in circles, in slices, and with a salad. And with a salad that usually we are very simple with the salad. We just put lettuce, onions, tomatoes, maybe radishes, cucumbers, and we use a little bit of lime. It could be any vegetable oil or olive oil, salt and pepper. And the kids love that.
Oh, my kids used to
Children,
love. Oh,
yeah. If children come back from school and they ask their mom, they always, what are we having for lunch? And mom say, we're having milanesa. You can see those children's eye like,
my oldest son, that's what he used to want for his birthday when he was young. That's exactly
yeah,
what he
yeah,
wanted.
my son, milanesa with spaghetti. Yeah, spaghetti tomato sauce.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I used to make guacamole and then we would eat it in tacos. So we would make
Yeah,
Melys
yeah,
tacos. So
yeah.
that's
Well,
how
my
we ate
son,
it.
he just have for lunch a torta milanesa.
Oh, see, I love that stuff.
Torta de milanesa.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I stopped you when you were telling us about your recipe because I had to
That was
share my
really
love of melanesa with
good. Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. The people, if you have not tried milanesa, you have to try it.
You do. And it's similar, I think, to there's a German dish that I've had where they have a very thin meat and they bread it and they fry it.
Mhm.
It's very, and I was surprised actually when
They make it with pork, and it's really good.
yeah, and I had it with beef at a German restaurant, and I was really surprised. I'm like, wow, this is really similar to Milanesa. Okay.
My son is not here. If not, he will be telling me the name because he loves that. When we go to a German restaurant, that's what he orders.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and I can't
Now that
remember the
I'm
name.
talking about my son, uh, I started the book. I started the blog for my son, and it was so wonderful for me that I actually made the book with him. We did it together
Oh, that's
because
so
he took
lovely.
he took the pictures. He edited the whole book for me before sending it to the editorial because my English is not very good looking still. So everything I wrote, he had to check it and double check and say, "Mom, what do you mean here? What? Tell me in Spanish. What do you want it to say, so I can tell the people how." So it was it's something that we did together. So it was nice for me to do it with him, and he was like, "You know what, Mom? When I have my children." And my cook for my children, I'm gonna tell this recipe when we have the book. Tell I did it with my mom.
That is so beautiful.
So I never in my million years thought about that. But when he told me that, like, oh my God, yeah, that you're right.
That
Yeah,
is so fantastic. So you started it for him and now it's gone full circle and you actually did a book with him and he's taken
mhm,
the photos. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
So lovely. So now you're going to launch the book and what's next for you, Mely? What are you going to do next?
Well, people has been asking me for years to do videos.
Oh,
To do
okay.
videos. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel that I have abandoned. Uh, but that I think that's the next thing that I also want to do another book because I have an idea for another book, but I don't really right now. Time time will tell if that's the right direction to go. But the next thing for me is to start making videos.
Oh,
To start
good. I'm
making videos.
excited. I'll be excited to check those out. So it's been so much fun to talk to you today. Do you have any other words of wisdom to share with our listeners? Because I think what you said about holding out for what you want and
Mhm.
trusting that it's going to come or it's not for you was just such wise words.
I if you I think if people have a dream or they want to accomplish something, write it down and work towards it every day. Every day you start fresh. If today didn't work out, okay, tomorrow you start again.
Hmm.
Because if you say, many people say, oh, I don't know, maybe because I am too old. And if you think about it and you say, okay, in 2 years, You're going to be old, but did you accomplish anything? So better start now and say, okay, in 2 years, I accomplished this much. It doesn't matter if you are old or you are young. The thing is to start doing it. Because the time still pass by. It's not going to wait for you.
No, it doesn't.
It's not going to wait.
No.
Not going to wait. And if something is not meant to you, don't get disappointed. Just think that it was a lesson and learn. Always look at the bright side, at the positive side, because there is always a lesson to learn. You
I
learn
agree.
something. So that's what I always think. Okay, something you wanted something so bad and you worked so hard for it and it didn't happen. I think the first reaction for us to get disappointed. But one of the things I do to myself, like, okay, wait a minute, go back. What did I learn? How can I use what I learned? And then when you look at the things that you learn and how valuable it makes you as a person, then your whole perspective change.
Mm-hmm.
I think, wow, it was worth it. Now I know all these skills. I have all these skills. Maybe I have to do something else.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think too, along with that, it's sometimes the things that we want, we're actually not ready for them.
Yeah.
Right. Like what you're talking about, that experience, maybe those mistakes that we make or those lessons that we learn, those are preparing us for that thing that we want because we're actually not ready for that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to be 60 this year in a couple of months.
You look amazing, Chica. Oh my gosh, you look so beautiful. Wow.
I'm going to be 60 years old. And I always think, okay, if I always think like that. If I go back and tell my 7-year-old Mely about today, I want to go back and give her a hug and tell her, we're going to be fine. You're going to write a book. Don't worry. It's going to take time, but you're going to write it. So
Aww.
it's like, just keep going every day, wake up, be thankful, and do the best that you can with what you have.
Those are very lovely words. I am so excited for you, amiga. I cannot wait to see where this takes you and your next big adventures.
Thank
And
you.
I am so very grateful that you said yes to be interviewed by me so we could talk about your book.
I was very happy when you said.
I was like, yay, Mely. All right. Well, I will be cheering for you. Continued success, amiga. And thank you for your wise words. And so true. We got to just keep going and keep dreaming, writing those things down.
Yeah, you have to keep dreaming.
Yes.
You have another day.
You have another day. I love that too.
They say it's the present. Present means it's a gift. Enjoy it.
Very true.
Enjoy it. It's a new day.
Yes. All right. For our listeners, thank you so much for joining us. And as my mama always said to me as we said our goodbyes, que Dios te bendiga, may God bless you. And remember to add the most important ingredient to every recipe you make, your love. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Muchísimas gracias.